Now, Formula One will stage its 10th race of the season in Canada tonight. And as that happens, George Russell and Max Verstappen will start together on the front row just 2 weeks after their controversial clash in Spain. Verstappen will join his rival on the front row in what promises to be a thrilling launch from the grid to the first corner. Reigning world champion Verstappen is also 1 penalty point away from triggering a race suspension after he clashed with Russell the last time out in Barcelona. And to talk about tonight's race, we've roped in F1 analyst Lufefe Mayekiso. Good afternoon, Lufefe, and thank you very much for joining us on SA Today.
Is it still afternoon? Thank you for having me. Good afternoon to you and your viewers, I guess.
Awesome.
Yes.
Now, I want to start with George Russell of Mercedes, starting out in first place on the grid tonight. He has had some decent results, but is it a surprise that he ended up on pole?
It's definitely a surprise. I mean, Mercedes' form this season has been up and down, but they have been promising. So it's good to see a more competitive season because I feel like McLaren have dominated with a bit of a challenge from Max Verstappen. So it's good to see someone else up in the front of the grid.
And speaking of Verstappen, there is that rivalry between him and George Russell. And Russell has shown in the past that he won't back down for Verstappen. And we have a clash potentially in the first corner. How do you see that one going? Will it be an ultra-aggressive start from Verstappen, do you think?
Look, Verstappen is sitting on 11 license points that have been doctored from his super license, which means if he gets another point deducted, he will get a 1 race ban. And he needs to survive this race and the next one in a fortnight in Austria. So with that in mind, I think he should be theoretically more careful than under normal circumstances.
Let's talk about Ferrari for a moment. A good result possibly from qualifying for Lewis Hamilton, starting in 5th today. Not so much for Charles Leclerc, his teammate. How are you seeing their chances for tonight's race?
Look, Charles had set purple first sector in his final run in Q3 before he was, I won't say impeded, but obstructed by another car, which disturbed his flow. So he was looking good for provisional pole, and he had been fast throughout, I think, FP3 and Q1 and 2. So Lewis, he's also showed a bit of pace. I think in Q2 he was 3rd quickest, and he was actually fastest for the longest time. So Ferrari, just like Mercedes, up and down, but somehow I've got a feeling of expectation today.
Is that feeling a podium position possibly tonight for Ferrari?
Yeah, maybe even a race victory. Who knows?
That's a very big call for Ferrari. I think they've only managed, 3 podium finishes this season so far with Charles Leclerc.
Is it 3 or 2? I feel like
Bahrain,
it's 2.
Miami, I think it was.
Yes.
And then in Monaco as well.
Oh, yes, you're
3.
right. You've got 3, correct.
Awesome.
And then Lewis won the sprint.
There we go, in China.
In China, yes.
Absolutely. Well. Let's talk about McLaren for a little bit. We've had a dominant season from them. They've won 7 out of 9 races this year so far. They're 197 points in the lead in the Constructors' Championship. Is it a surprise how they did this weekend with Piastri starting in 3rd, and we've got Lando Norris in 7th?
Look, they do have pace, those McLarens. Lando, he messed up his final run. I think he's been showing that he's feeling the pressure of the championship, and it's so early. And when it counts the most, that's when he starts making errors. Unlike his teammate Oscar, who has shown that he's as cool as a cucumber under those high-pressure situations. 3rd and 7th. Okay, 3rd is not bad. Oscar, I think he's still the favorite to win today for me. And I can see Lando making his way up to a podium as well.
I want to talk to you about that championship title race between Piastri and Lando Norris. I think you see it going for Piastri, no?
Oh, definitely. But aren't you counting Max in that fight?
Not just yet.
I
think it will be one of the McLarens, no doubt about that. I also want to talk about somebody who I have a very soft spot for, Isaac Hadjar.
Yes.
One of the rookies, probably the most impressive of them. Would you agree with that?
Fully. Definitely. Isaac Hadjar, I think he's the pick of the lot, followed by Antonelli. I've also been impressed with him, although he's had a bit of bad luck in the last couple of races. But Hadjar, definitely. But I think he should stay put in that V-carb and not even think about going to the senior Red Bull team.
I wanted to talk to you about that because the talk in this week is that he'll possibly end up being Max Verstappen's teammate with the Red Bull senior team, and then Yuki probably dropping back down to the Racing Bulls. How do you see Yuki doing as well at the moment?
For me now, it's Yuki, It's Liam Lawson, it's Checo Perez, Alex Albon, Pierre Gasly. Is it really the driver now? I mean, I think Red Bull, they need to start really considering signing a driver with pedigree, a Carlos Sainz, some driver in that mold, because seemingly these hand-picked drivers are unable to drive that second Red Bull car.
All right, and now we're expecting sunny and dry conditions for the race tonight. Who will that benefit the most?
In hot conditions, the McLaren has got the best cooling, which means it preserves its tires and does longer stints. And if you look, they did Q3 on soft tires as opposed to George and Max, who were on mediums. So I suspect they've got an extra set for the race today. And the medium tire, I think, is the best tire for racing.
Okay, now you've called Piastri the favorite. You think that Ferrari have got a chance of making it on the podium?
Touch wood.
Would you be bold enough to make a prediction for tonight's race?
Okay, a safe bet. I'm going to go for Piastri. I'll go for Verstappen. And then let's say Lewis.
Okay, fantastic. Lufefe, Mayekiso, thank you very much for joining us on SA Today.
Thank you for having me once more.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay.